Hello students, here is Ashu Gupta presenting a lecture on the subject of the international law. Firstly, I welcomes you all on the behalf of the Inpress Law College, who initiates that digital lecture series for the welfare of their students, through which you may also utilize your time at your own place and at your own time. So we utilize your time and to gain the maximum marks through these digital lecture series on that critical corona time period, and be safe and be healthy and stay at home. So let's discuss about the international law on the subject. What is the main things which is covered into your syllabus? So we will discuss here about the whole things which is covered into your syllabus pattern according to the CCS University for the BL-LLB 6th semester student. So be cautious and take the paper pen on your table and note it down the important things during the whole session which is covered by me. So if you have any query, then note down the query also, and we will discuss later on as per the action of your college authorities. So now let's move on the next slide, and let's discuss about the uh, main or important things which is a historical evolution, and sometimes it will cover the 10 marks or the 4 marks in your exam patterns. That is the what is the meaning, nature and the scope of international law, and what is the historical evolution of that international law. So before the introduction of the international law, first we have to know about the municipal laws. There is a term, there is a two terms, that is municipal laws or the international law. The basic meaning of the international law, that law which governs between the nation to nation, and municipal laws, it is the internal law which is applicable into a nation. That's why there is a question arises into your paper, what is the difference between the municipal laws or the international law. And the second thing is that what is the meaning of the law. In the general terms, you also know that law means a bundle of rules and regulations through which a society may regulate according to the legal framework, which you may see in that PPT slideshow, which governs that every society makes a legal framework under which it functions and develops. It is a permissive in nature, as it allows individuals to form legal relations with rights and duties, and is respective in nature, as it punishes the wrongdoers. अगर कोई गलत करता है तो उसे पनिश किया जाता है. जनरली आप देखते होंगे म्यूनिसिपल लॉज जो आपके यहाँ नेशनल लॉज होते हैं, जो नेशन के अंदर यानी कि इंटरनल पार्ट में जो लॉज हमारे यहाँ एप्लीकेबल होते हैं, हमारी कंट्री के अंदर जो लॉज एप्लीकेबल होते हैं, उन्हें जनरली म्यूनिसिपल लॉज के नाम से इंटरनेशनल लॉ में दर्शाया गया, और इसे आप देख भी सकते हैं. और जबकि इफ वी आर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द इंटरनेशनल लॉ, देन it is the external part of the law which is applicable between the nation to the nation and the outer boundaries of the nation and nation. ठीक है. तो basically international law is the outer part which is applicable on the outer part of the nation, and which covered the rules and regulations regarding one nation to other nation. And on the other part, municipal laws is a legal framework which is applicable into the internal part of that particular nation. That is the basic difference between municipal laws and the international law. That's why we are discussing firstly about that. You have to know about that, because 10 marks question or the 4 marks question are given in your exam paper. And let us take the next slides. We are discussing about the historical evolution of the international law. The present day international law may be said to be 400 years old. Basically, that law is near about to 400 years old, when the requirement of the international law arises between the nations, among the nations, and everyone want to trade with each other, and to adopt the culture with the separate things, and that's why the reason of the international law is vastly spread. And however, the roots of international law are found in the rules and usages which were observed by different nations, and it is covered by the customary rules also, which is applicable into that nation, and that laws spread nation to nation according to the time. And uh, if you know about the historical evolution, basically the direct contribution of Greeks and Romans to the development of international law is relatively meager. Let us move on the next slides, which is covered the development of the international law. It is near about the 400 years old when we have a need of the time to develop the international law. But basically, it is developed after the 15th or 16th century, uh, when uh, uh, when in Europe there began to evolve a number of independent civilized states. And the growth of the independent states led to the initiation of the process of formation of customary rules of the international law. That's why the growth of the modern international law arises from the 15th to 17th century, wherein the name of the international law represent as the law of nations. Let us move on the next slide. International law already existed in the name of the law of nations, which is interpreted by the Hugo Grotius first time in his books De Jure Belli et Pacis, which means the law of war and peace, which is written by him in 1625. In the 16th century, firstly, he says the international law in the name of the law of nations. That's why uh, he is called as the father of law of nations. Then let's move us on the next slide. And after that, the term coined international law. First of all, Jeremy Bentham in 1780 in his book Law of Nation represents as the international law, and that term firstly coined by the English philosopher Jeremy Bentham in place of law of nations. So note it down that the name of the both writers, both jurists, Jeremy Bentham or the Hugo Grotius, which is most important part of the historical evolution of the international law. And every country is referred to as a state in international law. I have already said that there is the representation in the name of the state, not the country, and that's why that is the important part of the international law. What is the meaning, historical evolution, and the term point of the international law. Thank you very much, and meet again in the next lecture. Thank you.